What's up guys, Phantom here back with episode 61 of my F1 2019 career mode as we are going to circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix for round 7 of season 4 here. As you can see, we have two upgrades here, a major power unit and a ultimate chassis upgrade there for weight reduction, as we are right up against Racing Point there for top 3 car, as you can see there, as we have to move on to qualifying.
Welcome again then, and we hope you're ready for another fantastic session as the teams prepare to unleash their cars for qualifying at the Canadian Grand Prix. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined, and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
As we start out here in Q2, as we kind of lose the back end there in the rain here, as it is raining. It was dry for Q1, but it is now raining here in Q2 here, as it is only supposed to get heavier as we are out here as soon as the session started here, as we come tiptoeing out of turn 2 here, as we come down the back stretch here into the final chicane and try to not slam into the wall of the champions. We almost overcorrected there, as of course that's the fastest lap, and we come in at P2, but at the end of the session we will only be P10, which will barely get us into Q3 there, as Ricardo is right ahead of us, as we will move on to Q3. As we are now at the end of Q3 here, as it's let off some to the point where it is now dry, as we are going to pass with 35 seconds left to go in the session here, as we are following there of Leclerc, which is not a very bad car to follow there, which is probably going to be top 3 on the grid, as the McLarens are absolutely flying this year like they were the second half of last season, as we are going to come across the line as Leclerc sets the fastest lap in 6th position there, as our teammate Ricardo is down in 10th. So this is our best qualifying of the season here with Renault, as we will move on to the race.
Canada has a true love affair with Formula One. The grandstands here are always packed to capacity. It's a country that has given us the likes of Gilles and Jacques Villeneuve, the thrilling Grand Prix of '79, of '98, and of course 2011. They love their motorsport in Montreal, and we absolutely love coming here. It's a tricky circuit to tackle in wet conditions, with top speed still of critical importance down the long back straight. There are 2.7 miles and 14 corners overall on a circuit that in the dry can see average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour. We'll be lucky to get anywhere near that today. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Old Timer. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Bottas, Sebastian Vettel, Oldtimer, Albon, Butler, Raikkonen, and Daniel Ricciardo. Kvyat, Sainz, Lucas Faber, and Verstappen, Stroll, Grosjean, George Russell, and Nico Hülkenberg. Norris and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
As we sit here on the grid in P6, as it is raining here at Canada, as the 5 lights are away, as we get a absolutely horrendous start here as Albon is going to pull up next to us here as we come into turn 1. We almost run into the back of Vettel there as we lose the back end, as we're going to fight here to stay in 6th position there as we lose the back end once again, but we've managed to clear Albon there as we are raining here at Canada, as it will actually dry up in the middle of the race, and we will have to make a decision on whether we want to go on to the soft or medium tires here as we run into the back of Vettel once again there, as what we managed to avoid at turn 1 we could not avoid there, as we come on to lap 1 here at the hairpin here, as we're going to go down the inside of Vettel and down the inside of Perez there, as he kind of gave us the squeeze there, as we kind of made it last minute. We couldn't really brake anymore. We would have locked up, or as he sent us onto the grass there, as he is absolutely giving us no room there as we come down the back stretch here, as he's going to go defensive, which means we'll have to go around the outside, as we've managed to make the corner, as we kind of lose the back end there a little bit on the curb there, but we've made a brilliant move around the outside there of Perez there, as we are absolutely flying in the rain, as this has probably been our this has most definitely been our strongest race here, as we are in the top 4 here, and we are looking at Bottas here, as we will go around the outside, as since we are having a dry setup on, we will fly down the straight right past him, but we are absolutely just flying period here, as we have set a purple sector 1 there, as Hamilton currently has the fastest lap, but that is no more, as we absolutely just smash it, and we've taken the fastest lap, as Hulkenberg is out of the race there. So once again, Hulkenberg is not having the best of time, even though he does have all of Williams' points there, but it did come at the DNF-fested Australian Grand Prix, as we will set another fastest lap there, as Hulkenberg's car is parked there, as will set another fastest lap as the race is drying out for us.
Right, some information on Hamilton. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
As Hamilton, who has not had very much luck this season with us qualifying really badly this season, he's been parked at the back a lot, as he is really slow, as we set another fastest lap there. As you've seen within a straight or two, he is really slow, as he's about 2.5 seconds off of Leclerc, as we're going to go around the outside here of the right-hander, which will turn into the inside here for the chicane, as we are setting another purple sector 1 there, as we are absolutely flying, as we will actually change and go on to the pits this time, and we will go on a really aggressive strategy and go onto the softs here. I think I can make them last the next 10 laps here, and maybe we can jump Leclerc there up in first, or really get the time down where I can get into DRS range versus him, as everybody else is staying out for one more lap, as I've really gone out here and think that the lap will dry halfway through this lap, and I think we will make up some decent time, plus we will not get stuck in the pit lane with everybody behind us here, as we were coming out of the pits just behind Grosjean here, who will momentarily keep 16th, but we will do the same thing we do to Hamilton as we do here to Grosjean, but it is still pretty, it's not damp, it's just really slick out, where like it's the track's actually dry, but we are right now, the tires just aren't up the temperature here. As you can see, we kind of just slid there through the final chicane, as we are passing most of the cars coming out, as we set a fastest lap of the race. But there is Leclerc, who is definitely not as far out as he was earlier, as you can just see here what's the difference of intermediates to dry tires here, as we just easily pull up to Norris there, cut the corner there a little bit so we don't get turned in on, as the AI normally done this season. As you can see, is an absolute park fest here. As you can see, all the cars entering and leaving, as just there's what 17-18 cars in the pit lane here, as we will set a fastest lap, as Leclerc's also set a fastest lap, but we are trying to chase him, and he is on medium tires, so we really need to catch him as soon as possible, as he sets a fastest lap, as we equal him, as Jeff is not too happy with our fuel situation.
Probably a lap or so short. We don't need to risk a DNF chasing records, so think about going down to mix 1 and lifting early into the corners.
I think Jeff needs to get his eyes checked because you can see there we are 0.18 to the minus there as Leclerc sets another fastest lap as we don't equal him at all. We are just behind him as he sets now a 109.7. We do a 109.8 as we are just trying to keep up with him. We were basically drag racing qualifying laps as he sets a 5 and we set a 6 as we are just almost to him here on lap 14 as he sets a 5 and we set a 4 as we are just going for it as much as we possibly can. We come to the end of lap 16 here as we have set another fastest lap of the race as Jeff, this time quite rightly so, is not very too happy with us.
We don't need to risk a DNF chasing records, so think about going down to mix 1 and lifting early into the corners.
As you can see here, we are at 0.37 with 2.5 laps to go, so we probably need to, quite rightly so, set it down as we are actually still closing in a little bit to him, but our tires were going off the last couple laps there. But we will take our first podium with Renault this season.
Great work. Well done. We're really happy with the podium here.
Another race and another win for McLaren. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Now, let's discuss, Ants. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Carlos Sainz certainly wasn't someone to scoff about. His ability to follow race strategies throughout with pinpoint precision has to be commended.
Let's move on to the constructors. McLaren continue to increase their gap at the top. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.